Hello, welcome to Dungeon Rolls Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. So, for part 2 of our 500 sub special, we're reviewing Mar-vell Spotlight Issue 8, featuring Captain Mar-vell, the planet where time stood still. I paid $15 for this. This came out in 1980, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Which it says there. And you have a beautiful cover by Frank Miller, who also did the interior for the book. This is back before he had that very rough, like, sketch, like, blocky art style, which was good in, like, comics like, The Dark Knight Returns and Sin City, but, like, it kind of overstayed its welcome. So it's kind of nice to see, like, Frank Miller draw more, like, the smooth, like, art style, right? Yeah. So this is a very old comic, so I gotta be careful. Which, gotta say, I'm not a fan of how his hair looks in the interior of the comic book, because it's very, like, it's very Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry style hair, where, he's known for his, like, like, wavy, like, combed to one side hair. Yeah, so this is written by Mike W. Barr, with Dick Riley as the co-plotter, but, like, yeah, Frank Miller did the art for this book. So, yeah, what the comic book is about is, Captain Mar-vell was at this observatory, which Captain Mar-vell, this is the original Captain Mar-vell, Mar-vell, who was a Kree warrior who became, like, the defender of the universe and moved to Earth, which I'm not like, that familiar with his origin story. I just know that he kind of defected from the Kree to move to Earth, right? Yeah, so he's getting a tour of the observatory when something happens. A bunch of their scientists disappear, right? A bunch of their scientists disappear from this, like, purple ray from space, right? And here you see two more scientists disappear, right? Doesn't that kind of look like that Kojak guy, Teddy Savalas, or something? I don't know. I could be wrong. Here you see they get shot. They get, like, shot with the purple, pink ray, and, like, Captain Mar-vell's like, holy shit, I gotta investigate this. He goes to the planet, right, and he sees a scroll. And, like, he sees a scroll. He's like, by the Great Palma, a scroll. I should have known your race would be behind this. What is your plan, evil one? Because, the Kree, like, in the Captain Mar-vell movie, the Kree really hate the Skrulls. So it's like, it's portrayed that Captain Mar-vell is very prejudiced against Skrulls. You refuse to answer A, your silence testifies to your guilt. The Skrull just minding his own business, and Captain Mar-vell is going to lay a beat down on him for no reason, right? So, of course, we got the scammy old comic book ads, which there's some great comic book ads in here. Here's where they advertised the new X-Men, the Chris Claremont and John Byrne run here. So that was pretty cool. They also have Man-Thing. Can we get to the comic? I really love this ad. You have a very sophisticated Hulk trying to tell people, hey, subscribe to Mar-vell Comics and you'll get big savings for each subscription. And he's like, yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, so yeah, in this comic book, Captain Marvel, turns out this alien race has been kidnapping people, right? And their intelligence is inside this like uh, statue, and there's only one person from the original planet left alive, who um, who was somewhat responsible for the planet getting killed, wiped out from because he was in charge of floodings. He was like the dam inspector, but there was a flood that destroyed the dam and killed almost everybody, except for the people in charge who put their intelligence inside like these statues. Right here, you can see the statues. Right. At first, I saw this thing, and I thought that was like a what are they called? The Infinity Gem or whatever, Affinity Stone. Yeah, this is where he finds the Earth scientists. Apparently these these assholes who are living in statues go around like spying on people throughout the universe and kidnaps them and throw them and freeze them in time. But the people who are frozen are conscious of of them being like paralyzed, right? So they can't move, they can't speak, but they're just frozen in place forever, like living statues, right? And this guy is their caregiver, right? So Captain Marvel figures this out, right? He battles like a Cerberus, which is like a Cerberus, who is like the guardian of those who see, which that's what they're called, right? Tell me that doesn't look like Dirty Harry there. He just, oh my god. Yeah, he battles. He destroys some statues. Yeah, that's the one problem I have with this comic book. You get a bunch of ads, including this one, where the Kree are going to invade Earth, and Captain Marvel is going to like figures out a way to stop the Kree from invading Earth without any violence, and he crashes into like the Earth's like the War Council and tells them, hey, just give them Twinkies and the Kree will fuck off. The Earthlings send the Kree Twinkies, and the Earth is saved. Oh my god. Twinkies. Oh my god. Yeah, so yeah, here you see Captain Marvel destroy the gem thing, the power source of those who see, and everybody magically gets transported back to their home planets, including Earthlings. So Captain Marvel flies back to Earth and leaves this guy to ponder, right? See, that's how that comic book ends. So it had a very... I liked that this comic book, which I paid $15 for, just because it has Frank Miller art. I liked that, that it had a standalone story, right? They do a good job of explaining who Captain Marvel is, what does he do, right? Yeah. And, it was a pretty cool, space adventure story. My problem with it is very rushed, and the backgrounds were blank at some points, right? Were blank at some points, and it was very obvious that, he was using that Frank Miller was using actors as references, right? Which people do that, but yeah, I don't know. It was a good story. Is it worth $15? But no, I wouldn't say it was. But if you can get this for cheap, I would say it was a good read. I would say 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, Frank Miller art was cool, right? Very, very colorful, like, comic book. I like that the light that was like kidnapping people was like purple violet. Reminded me of that H.P. Lovecraft story, the colors from outer space, right? Which was made into a movie recently with Nicolas Cage, right? Which there was one from like the '90s with fucking Wesley from Star Trek. But yeah, Wesley from Star Trek sucks. But yeah, the art was good, right? The art was good. But there are some like backgrounds that were not great. But overall, very good comic book. Has a very Star Wars feel with the diversity of aliens, cultures, stuff like that. No, like this guy. Look at this panel here. The dude looks like he has a floating head, right? But yeah, I would say it's a 6.5 out of 10. I definitely want to read some more OG Captain Marvel, right? Yeah, especially after watching that terrible Captain Marvel film, which I was surprised that like some defenders of that film showed up uh, to give their opinion on my movie review. That they love female Captain Marvel, right? And though a little suspicious that the accounts were like a day or two old, but that the accounts were a day or two old. But you know what? I'm sure there are a lot of fervent Brie Larson fans, female Captain Marvel fans. If only the Brie Larson fans would buy the SJW comic books, right? Uh, then maybe the modern day comic book industry wouldn't be dying, and Conan and Barbarian wouldn't be a license, wouldn't be owned by Tencent, a Chinese mobile game company. I just watched like Hut's video. Marvel lost their license for Conan the Barbarian. The Chinese took it. The Chinese overlords took it back. I guess they weren't happy with internals and like all the American propaganda trying to normalize a war with China. So like they're getting back at us by taking back the Conan the Barbarian IP, which I wonder if the Chinese would be better off if the Chinese wouldn't be better off making their own Conan the Barbarian comic books. I would check it out. There is a very good Chinese web comic that I was reading during the pandemic. I forget what it's called, but it was very good. It was very good, man. Like the guy had the guy drew the main character like Kylo Ren from the Star Wars films, and it very much reminded me of Ninja. It was basically a Chinese version of Ninja Scrolls. Have you ever watched that anime? Which, when I remember the name of that Chinese manga, I'll let you guys know in the comments. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah, that's it for this review, guys. We're gonna continue the George Perez tribute with our final review, Crisis on Infinite Earths, which it's going to take me a while to read this comic book. Yeah, so like, because this is like 14 issues, by the way. This trade is 14 issues. It's a thick boy. Yeah, but this is going to be coming up sometime next week, and tomorrow I should have my my latest book review up. We're going to review the Dragon Reborn, the third book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan.